My name is Yu Ruoji. 3 days ago, the Prime Minister's mansion collapsed overnight. On the night my father was taken to the imperial prison, wearing only thin clothes, he slipped a cold letter to me through the prison bars. Ruoji, go beg Lord Jiang, he said hoarsely, marry him, and it will save your life. Jiang Shizi, Jiang Ningchuan, I have only met him 3 times, once at a palace banquet, he toasted from afar, his gaze lingering on my face for a moment, another time on the street. His horse spooked, and as I dodged, my handkerchief fell, he bent down to pick it up, and when he handed it back, his fingertips brushed against the back of my hand. Another time, in my father's study, while he was discussing matters with my father, I served tea, and he looked up at me, smiling. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now the story begins, but now, this name has become a lifesaver. I held the letter and sat in the empty Prime Minister's residence all night. At dawn, the Jiang family's betrothal gifts arrived. 8 bearers carried the grand sedan chair, with a 10-mile-long procession of red dowry, so ostentatious it hardly seemed like marrying the daughter of a disgraced official. Dressed in elaborate wedding attire, I was helped into the sedan chair by my maid. The moment the bridal veil fell, I overheard people outside whispering, "What a fortunate lady from the Yu family. To marry into the Jiang household even in such circumstances, fortune, more like a lamb walking into a tiger's den, should keep your voice down, Lord Jiang is." The voices faded, and I couldn't make out the rest, but my heart felt as if something was blocking it, heavy and stifled. Jiang Ningchuan's hands were very steady during the wedding ceremony. He led me, step by step, onto the red carpet. I could feel the gazes around us, some sympathetic, some curious, and some subtly disdainful. After paying respects to heaven and earth, I was escorted to the bridal chamber. The red candles burned brightly, casting a warm glow throughout the room. I sat by the edge of the bed, listening to the clamor outside, my fingers unconsciously twisting the edge of the bridal veil. After what felt like an eternity, the door creaked open. Footsteps approached from a distance and came to a halt right in front of me. A hand reached over and lifted my bridal veil. Jiang Ningchuan stood there. Dressed in wedding attire, his face as fair as jade, he looked at me, a trace of admiration in his eyes. "Yu Ruoji," he spoke, his voice gentle. "From this day forward, you are my wife." I lowered my eyes and replied softly, "Yes, my husband." He smiled and reached out to stroke my cheek. "They say your beauty is unmatched in the capital, and indeed, the rumors do not disappoint." His fingertips were warm, and the touch felt somewhat unfamiliar. I trembled slightly. "Don't be afraid," he leaned in, his breath warm against my ear. "I'll be good to you." That night, the red candles burned for a long time. He was indeed good to me. I was so sore the next day when I woke up that I could barely get out of bed. The maid helped me up, her eyes flickering as she looked at the marks on my body. I knew what they were. My heart felt a little sour, and there was an inexplicable sense of shame, remembering the force with which he ground repeatedly last night. My stomach churned. Perhaps he was just infatuated with my appearance. As the daughter of a disgraced official, I shouldn't ask for too much with such a fate. I told myself this. Just after finishing breakfast, Jiang Ningchuan arrived. Seeing me steadying myself by holding onto the edge of the table, he raised an eyebrow, still feeling unwell. My cheeks flushed, and I lowered my gaze. "It's nothing, nothing." He stepped closer, lifting my chin with his fingertip. "Last night, you clearly..." "Husband," I interrupted him. My heart pounding like a drum, he chuckled softly, smoothing my hair for me. "Never mind, there are matters at the estate today. I must go out, rest for now, call the servants if you need anything." After he left, I slumped into the chair, and a line of text floated before my eyes. Look at his smug face. He must have done it on purpose. Is this my married life, respecting each other like guests, or rather, appearing harmonious but actually estranged, just as I was thinking? Another line of white text floated before my eyes. Damn, so wild on the wedding night. Lord Jiang is impressive. I was startled, looked around, but there was no one. Could it be that I'm too tired and hallucinating? I rubbed my eyes. Another line of text floated by. I feel so bad for the female lead. She just jumped from the wolf's den into the tiger's lair. Upstairs. You can't say that. Lord Jiang seems quite gentle. Gentle, with all that commotion last night, gentle my foot. My face instantly flushed red. What is this? Is it because something happened at the Prime Minister's residence, and I'm under too much pressure, going insane? I took a deep breath, trying hard to calm myself down. Maybe it's just temporary, it'll get better after a while. I stopped looking at those words and got up to return to my room. Lying in bed, my whole body still ached, but the scenes from last night kept replaying in my mind, along with those inexplicable bullet comments. Life seems to be more complicated than I imagined. Little did I know that, just a few streets away in the general's mansion, Xiao Lin was crushing the teacup in his hand with a sudden force. The warm tea splashed onto the back of his hand, yet he stared at the stinging pain in his palm, his eyes as dark as the night. System prompt, empathic link established, target's emotional fluctuations are intense. He didn't hear the system prompt, only feeling as though something had seized his chest. Each breath aching dully. The woman he had been longing for was held in another man's arms last night. This realization stirred a jealousy in his eyes that even he hadn't noticed. In the days following our marriage, Jiang Ningchuan treated me with reasonable consideration. He paid his respects morning and evening and would ask about my preferences during meals. However, at night, he still came to my room. Each time left me utterly exhausted, both physically and emotionally. I've gradually gotten used to those bullet comments. They always appear when my emotions fluctuate or at certain specific moments. Here we go again, with this kind of stamina. It's a shame Jiang Shizi isn't in the military. Can the female lead's body even handle this? My heart aches +1. She seems so passive. Does anyone else think the way Lord Jiang looks at the female lead is a bit off? I think so too. Jiang Ningchuan's gaze at me is gentle. But there always seems to be something standing between us. At times, I can even detect a hint of cold calculation beneath that gentleness. But I dare not dwell on it. I have nothing left now, and I can only rely on him. That afternoon, feeling rather bored, I decided to take a stroll in the garden. The maid said the garden was under renovation and suggested I go somewhere else, so I had no choice but to wander around the mansion. As I reached the moon gate, I ran into someone coming my way. The man was clad in silver-white armor, standing tall and straight with a stern expression. It was Xiao Lin, the young general known to everyone in the capital. I had met him a few times. Once at the training ground, he rode a horse and shot arrows, never missing a target. Once at a palace banquet, he sat alone in a corner, his gaze as sharp as an eagle's while drinking. Another time, on the street, he rescued a child who had been knocked down by a carriage, his movements swift and decisive. Now, he stands before me, looking at me with a deep, intense gaze. My heart tightened, and I curtsied. Greetings, General Xiao. He didn't speak, but his gaze was like a hook, pulling at my line of sight. I felt a bit uneasy under his stare and wanted to lower my head to avoid it. Miss you, he suddenly spoke, his voice deep. I looked up at him. What are your orders, General? A faint, ambiguous smile played at the corner of his lips. You look unwell. Could it be that you've been overworking yourself at night? I was suddenly taken aback. Hard work. How would he know? A surge of heat rushed to my cheeks, and I felt both embarrassed and angry. General, watch your words. He raised an eyebrow and took a step forward, closing the distance between us. Be cautious with your words, he murmured. Isn't that the case? Every time he exhausts you to the point of being unable to leave the bed, I feel it as if it were happening to me. Empathize. I was completely stunned. What does he mean by that? Could it be? I suddenly remembered those bullet comments. Could he see it too? No, impossible. Only I can see that barrage. Then what he said about empathy. Holy crap. Empathy setting. Oh my god. General Xiao can sense the female lead's feelings, so he knows everything about the female lead and Lord Jiang, including, this is so intense. Where is this plot going? The barrage of comments on the screen was scrolling wildly. I looked at Xiao Lin, my heart pounding wildly. What do you mean? My voice trembled slightly. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a complexity I had never seen before. It means, he said, word by word. Everything between you and him, your feelings, your pain, I can feel it all. Pain. I suddenly remembered last night. Jiang Ningchuan was indeed a bit rough, and I was in so much pain that I shed tears. Could it be? I dare not think any further. This is absurd. How could such a thing happen in this world? You're talking nonsense. I took a step back, my face pale. Are you misunderstanding something? He looked at me, not a hint of jest in his eyes. Xiao Lin stepped closer. His armor brushing against my sleeve. When he held you in his arms, his voice suddenly turned hoarse. I wanted to chop his hands off. The last sentence carried a strong sense of malice, making me shudder all over. Holy crap. The jealousy is off the charts. General Xiao is so crazy. I love it. Run, female lead. No, run into his arms. The wind swept through the courtyard, tousling the stray strands of hair at my temples. Xiao Lin's gaze fell on the lingering red marks on my neck. And his eyes instantly turned cold. Jiang Ningchuan, he gritted his teeth, has no idea how to cherish you. His words pierced my heart like needles. Yes, when has Jiang Ningchuan ever cherished me? All he wanted was this physical form, the thrill of controlling the daughter of a disgraced official, general. I opened my mouth, but didn't know what to say. My heart aches for General Xiao for a second. This must feel awful. So the way he looks at Prince Jiang, is it also filled with resentment? Bullet comments continued to scroll by, but I could no longer hear them clearly. I only felt ashamed. My private affairs have been completely known by an outsider, and a man at that. How can I face myself after this? My lips trembled, but I couldn't speak. Xiao Lin looked at me, his gaze gradually softening. Don't be afraid, he said. I won't tell anyone. He paused, as if weighing his words. I just can't bear to see you like this. Can't bear it. I looked up at him. Don't let yourself get hurt again, Xiao Lin continued, taking out a jade bottle from his sleeve. This is a healing medicine, better than the Jiang manners. I took the jade bottle, and it felt cold to the touch. Why are you so good to me? I couldn't help but ask. He looked at me, his expression complex and hard to decipher, because, before he could finish, Jiang Ningchuan's voice suddenly came. Ruoji, what are you doing here? I turned around abruptly to see Jiang Ningchuan standing not far away, his face dark and gloomy. Xiao Lin instantly took half a step back, resuming his usual cold composure. Lord Jiang. Jiang Ningchuan walked to my side, wrapped his arm around my waist, and pinched me hard with his fingertips. So you were talking to General Xiao. I wonder what you and my wife were discussing with such keen interest. General Xiao, his tone was light with laughter. But his gaze scraped over me and Xiao Lin like a blade. Here it comes, the showdown. Jiang Ningchuan's possessiveness is off the charts. Quick, lie, heroine, lie quickly. My heart was racing, and just as I was about to speak, Xiao Lin said first, it was just a chance encounter, reminding the consort to take care of her health. Oh, Jiang Ningchuan raised an eyebrow. How so? Xiao Lin looked at him, a cold smirk curling at the corner of his mouth. Naturally. I was reminding the heir not to be too diligent and harm the consort's health. At these words, Jiang Ningchuan's expression darkened completely. General Xiao is so bold, confronting head-on. This is jealousy out in the open. Jiang Ningchuan is about to lose his temper. Run. The air instantly froze. Thick with the smell of gunpowder, I was caught in the middle, my palms drenched in sweat. General Xiao is quite thoughtful. Jiang Ningchuan forced a smile. My wife and I need not trouble the general with our private marital affairs. Is that so? Xiao Lin looked at him sharply. But it seems to me that the consort doesn't appear too willing. Jiang Ningchuan flew into a rage and reached for his sword. My lord, I quickly grabbed his arm. The general meant well. Please don't be angry. I turned to Xiao Lin, bowed slightly, and said, thank you for the reminder, General. I shall take my leave now. With that, I hurriedly led Jiang Ningchuan away. Only after walking a long distance did I dare to look back. Xiao Lin still stood in place, watching my retreating figure, the emotion in his eyes so intense it seemed almost tangible. Back in the room, Jiang Ningchuan shook off my hand, his face ashen. What exactly is your relationship with him? I have only met the general a few times. I lowered my gaze. Husband, please do not overthink it. A few times. He gripped my chin. The way he looked at you, it was as if he wanted to devour you. You Ruoji, you remember this, he said with a fierce tone. You are mine, and you will be for the rest of your life. After saying that, he pushed me away and stormed out. Slamming the door behind him, Jiang Ningchuan stayed in my room for 3 consecutive nights. His force was even stronger than on our wedding night. His fingers left bruises on my waist. That day, the way Xiao Lin looked at you, he bit my shoulder, his voice fierce. Did you like it? I clutched the brocade quilt without speaking, white text floating before my eyes. He's gone mad, he's taking his anger out on the female lead. Speak. Jiang Ningchuan pinched my chin. Do you have feelings for him? No. I turned my face away, my voice hoarse. No, he sneered, his palm covering my heart. Then why is it beating so fast here? I closed my eyes, unwilling to see the suspicion and possessiveness in his gaze. Only when he fell into a deep sleep in the fifth watch did I dare lift the blanket to examine the injury on my waist. The bluish-purple fingerprints snaked like a serpent, startlingly vivid under the moonlight. I feel so bad for the female lead. This isn't care, it's outright abuse. General Xiao must be heartbroken. What is he doing now? I touched the injured area and remembered the jade vial Xiao Lin had given me. Quickly rummaging through the dressing table drawer to find it, the ointment had a bitter medicinal scent and felt cool when applied to the skin. Just as I finished, there came a very light tapping sound from outside the window. I was startled, blew out the candle, and asked in a low voice, "Who is it?" "It's me." Xiao Lin's voice came through the window paper, carrying a hint of urgency. My heart raced as I walked to the window. "What is it? General, are you hurt?" he asked. His voice trembling almost imperceptibly. I could sense it. My heart warmed, yet a pang of sorrow tugged at me. "I'm fine. Thank you for your concern." "General, open the door," he said, his tone leaving no room for argument. I hesitated for a moment, but ultimately slid open the window latch. Xiao Lin flipped into the room, the moonlight outlining his tense profile. He immediately spotted the unhealed bruises at my waist, his gaze instantly turning cold. Did he do this? He reached out, his fingertips hovering above the injury, not daring to touch. General Xiao sneaking into the boudoir at night. That look, it's murderous. Scumbag Jiang is done for. Quick, hug the female lead. She needs comfort. I instinctively tried to pull my clothes together, but he pressed down on my wrist. "Don't touch," he said in a low voice. I brought better medicine. He pulled out a smaller porcelain bottle from his sleeve, and upon opening it, it contained a pale pink ointment. "This is a secret military remedy, the fastest for removing bruises," he said, dipping his fingertip into the ointment. "It might feel a bit cold." I flinched slightly as his fingertip touched my skin, not because of the cold, but because his touch was so gentle, a stark contrast to Jiang Ningchuan's roughness. "Does it hurt?" He looked up at me, his gaze deep. I shook my head, my cheeks burning. "It doesn't hurt." He chuckled softly and continued applying the medicine, still saying it doesn't hurt. "Your eyes are red, so gentle. This is what it means to truly care for someone. Compared to that scumbag Jiang, it's like heaven and earth. Heroine, hurry up and fall for him, fall in love with him." The ointment was quickly absorbed, and the burning pain in my waist eased considerably. "Thank you." I lowered my head to adjust my clothes, not daring to look at him. "Weak Xi," he suddenly called my name. "Divorce him." I looked up abruptly, meeting his earnest gaze. "Not now." I shook my head. "My father's case hasn't. I'll help you investigate," he interrupted. "As long as you leave him, leave the rest to me." "Why are you so good to me?" I couldn't help but ask. "We're just—" "No reason," he said, looking at me with a determined gaze. "I can't bear to see you suffer like this any longer." Outside the window, the night watchman's drum sounded, marking the hour of yin. "You should go quickly, before someone finds you," I urged. He nodded, then took out a token from his chest. "This is my personal token. If you're in danger, send someone to find me with it." I took the token. It was warm to the touch, engraved with the character Xiao. "Hurry back," I said, pushing him toward the window. Before climbing out, he turned and gave me a deep look. "Wait for me." I watched him disappear into the night, clutching the token tightly in my hand, my heart pounding like a drum. A token of love. General Xiao is so dreamy, full of security. Heroine, go with him. Don't look back. The next day, Jiang Ningchuan noticed the wound on my waist had faded significantly, his gaze turning gloomy. "Who gave you the medicine?" He pinched my chin. "Was it Xiao Lin?" I turned my face away. "I found it myself." "Is that so?" He sneered. "You Ruoji, you'd better not be lying to me." He let go and slammed the door as he left. I slumped into the chair, and white text floated before my eyes. Jiang, the scumbag, is too paranoid. In the afternoon, I went to the study to bring Jiang Ningchuan some tea, but I overheard him talking to someone inside. Have all the fabricated evidence against the Prime Minister been disposed of? It was Jiang Ningchuan's voice. Don't worry, Your Highness, an unfamiliar voice said. The witnesses have already. Very good, Jiang Ningchuan chuckled lightly. Keep a close eye on you, Ruoji. What trouble could a mere woman possibly stir up? What do you know? Jiang Ningchuan's tone turned icy. Her eyes are too seductive. Even Xiao Lin has fallen under her spell. My heart sank suddenly, and the hand holding the tea began to tremble. So it was true, father was indeed framed by him. So he married me, really, just to keep watch over me. It's here. The truth is about to be revealed. It really was that scumbag Jiang. I'm so angry. Run, female lead, gather evidence. I quietly stepped back and accidentally bumped into the bronze bell on the corridor pillar. Who's out there? Jiang Ningchuan asked sharply. I turned and ran, the teacup crashing to the ground, shattering into pieces. Behind me, Jiang Ningchuan roared, catch her. I ran desperately forward, with only one thought in my mind. Find Xiao Lin. I pulled out the token from my pocket and said to the gatekeeper, quick, go find General Xiao for me. The servant's expression changed upon seeing the token. And he immediately nodded. Please wait a moment. I hid behind the door, listening as Jiang Ningchuan's footsteps drew closer, my heart nearly leaping out of my chest. Just then, the sound of urgent hoofbeats approached from a distance. Xiao Lin charged into the courtyard on horseback. And the moment he saw me, the look in his eyes instantly changed. Weak Xi, he dismounted and ran to my side. What's wrong? Jiang Ningchuan chased out with his servants, and upon seeing Xiao Lin, his face turned ashen. Xiao Lin, what are you doing here again? Xiao Lin shielded me behind him, his gaze icy. Lord Jiang, what do you intend to do to her? She is my wife. What business is it of yours what I do? Jiang Ningchuan roared. Your wife, Xiao Lin sneered. The daughter of a minister you framed and condemned, did you ever truly treat her as your wife? Jiang Ningchuan turned pale. What nonsense are you talking about? Nonsense. Xiao Lin took a step forward. Shall I present the evidence of how you bribed witnesses to frame the Prime Minister? Jiang Ningchuan staggered back. His eyes filled with terror. How could you have? General Xiao is mighty. The evidence is all here. Scumbag Jiang is panicking. Ha ha ha, heroine. Quickly get a divorce. Go with General Xiao. I hid behind Xiao Lin, watching Jiang Ningchuan's terrified expression, and finally couldn't hold back my tears. So it was all true, my father's wrongful accusation, my marriage, all were schemes orchestrated by this man. Ruoji, Xiao Lin turned to look at me, his gaze gentle. Let's go. He took my hand and turned to leave. Jiang Ningchuan roared behind us. You Ruoji, how dare you leave? I won't let you get away with this. I didn't look back. Just tightly held Xiao Lin's hand. At this moment, I knew I could finally escape this nightmare. Xiao Lin's hand was steady and warm, giving me a sense of security I had never felt before. I followed him out of the Jiang mansion gate, the sunlight falling on me, a bit dazzling, but I knew, from this moment on, my life would no longer be shrouded in darkness. Only when the carriage had driven away from the Jiang residence did I dare to look back. The red walls shrank into a tiny speck amid the dust. Like a faded bloodstain, Xiao Lin's cloak was still wrapped around me, carrying the scent of soap from his body. What are you thinking about? He tapped the carriage wall with his fingertips, his voice gentle. I shook my head, my fingers tracing the edge of my cloak. Nothing. He chuckled softly and didn't press further. Sunlight streamed through the gap in the carriage curtain, illuminating his sword-holding hand. Those hands once applied medicine for me, their fingertips bearing thin calluses. Rough to the touch yet gentle. Alone in the carriage. The atmosphere is so ambiguous. Is the female lead secretly glancing at General Xiao? I get it. Cloak move, so swoon-worthy. Quick, hug her. The carriage stopped in front of the Xiao residence, and I clenched the hem of my clothes. The vermilion gate was simpler than the Jiang family's, yet it exuded an air of integrity. Xiao Lin stepped down first, then reached out to help me, his palm warm. Don't be afraid. He said softly, no one here will harm you. I nodded and followed him into the courtyard. The ground was paved with blue bricks, and a few old locust trees shed white blossoms, lacking the extravagance of the Jiang residence. This is the west courtyard. He pointed to a compound. You'll live here from now on. The room was simply furnished, with a pearwood desk placed under the window, on which lay an unfinished calligraphy copybook. How do you like it? He stood at the doorway. A hint of anticipation in his eyes. Very nice. I touched the slightly cool window frame. Better than Jiang Manor. He smiled. Glad you like it. Such attention to detail. General Xiao even prepared calligraphy practice sheets. He treats the female lead like family, doesn't he? I'm so touched. The female lead finally has a safe place to stay. So moving. It wasn't until the maid brought hot water that I noticed a scratch on the back of my hand. It was from a piece of rubble when I fled the Jiang residence, with a drop of blood congealed on the wound. Xiao Lin frowned, picked up my hand, and examined it closely. Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt. I tried to pull my hand back, but he held it even tighter. He took out a golden wound ointment from his sleeve and gently applied it to the cut with his fingertip. Be more careful in the future. His fingertip carried the coolness of the ointment, making my palm tingle with a slight itch. There's no need for such formality, General. I lowered my head to look at his thick eyelashes. With me, there is no such thing as no need, he interrupted, raising his eyes to meet mine. Call me Xiao Lin, calling him by his name already. The progress is lightning fast, the way he's applying the medicine, so gentle. I'm jealous, heroine. Call out quickly. Don't be shy. My cheeks flushed, and I called out softly, Xiao Lin. His eyes lit up, and the corners of his mouth lifted even higher. Just then, footsteps sounded outside the door, and a young girl poked her head in. Brother, father wants you in the main hall. It's Xiao Lin's sister, Xiao Yu, dressed in a light green dress, with eyes and brows resembling his. When she saw me, her eyes widened. So you're that divorced Miss Yu? Xiao Lin frowned. Mind your manners. Did I say anything wrong? Xiao Yu stuck out her tongue and approached me. You're prettier than I imagined. Your face looks a bit pale. She tilted her head to look at me. Were you scared by my brother? Sister-in-law is here. Her personality is so adorable. Is Xiao Yu the little sister playing matchmaker? Ha ha ha. The way the female lead and her sister-in-law interact is kind of sweet. I was amused by her and shook my head. No, Xiao Lin said helplessly. Don't tease her. I'll be right back. After he left, Xiao Yu pulled me to sit down. My brother rarely treats anyone this well. In the past, she lowered her voice. He even found it dirty to touch someone's hand. I remember Xiao Lin's hand applying medicine for me, and my heart skipped a beat. You know what? Xiao Yu said mysteriously. My brother has a painting in his room, and it's of you. I looked up abruptly. What painting? It's from last year's palace banquet. You in a white dress, dancing. She gestured. He secretly had someone paint it. Had a crush all along. What kind of fairy tale plot is this? The portrait is definitely a love token. Confirmed. Heroine. Ask quickly. Ask quickly. My heart felt as if something had struck it, both sour and soft. It turns out he had already noticed me without my knowing. Don't talk nonsense. Xiao Lin's voice came from the doorway. His ears were slightly red, clearly having overheard our conversation. Xiao Yu stuck out her tongue and ran off, leaving the two of us staring at each other. She's just a child, don't take it seriously. He walked to the table, pretending to tidy up the scrolls. I didn't. I wanted to say something, but found my throat tight. He suddenly turned around, walked up to me, and said with a serious look in his eyes, Ruoji, I've already sent someone to handle the matter of our separation. It's just that Jiang Ningchuan, he paused, might cause some trouble. I'm not afraid of trouble. I looked up at him. As long as I can leave him. He looked at me, his gaze gradually softening. With me here, I won't let you suffer. So secure. General Xiao, I'm all in. Hurry up with the divorce. Can't wait to see what happens next. The female lead's eyes are shining. It's the light of love. In the afternoon, I was strolling in the garden and saw Xiao Lin practicing swordplay in the training ground. He had taken off his outer robe, wearing only a white undergarment, with sweat soaking through his back. The sword gleamed sharply, stirring the wind with each move. Every strike was fierce and ruthless. I was so captivated that I didn't snap out of it until he sheathed his sword, turned around, and smiled at me. Did you like it? My cheeks flushed with heat, and I turned to leave, but he called out, wait. He walked up to me and handed me a handkerchief. Wipe your sweat. I took the handkerchief and caught a faint scent of soapberry, the same as the one on his cloak. You were practicing swordplay just now. I couldn't help but ask, were you angry? He raised an eyebrow. Why do you ask? It felt like you, I weighed my words, were using a lot of force. He was silent for a moment, then reached out and gently brushed the petals from my shoulder. Seeing you hurt made me uncomfortable. Especially when I think, his voice was hoarse, of the suffering you endured during those nights. I knew he was talking about the shared sensation, and my cheeks grew even hotter. Here it comes. The jealousy is showing. General Xiao is showing concern for the female lead's past hardships. Hug her quickly, comfort her. He looked at me with a complicated expression. Ruoji, it won't happen again. From now on, your pain. He paused, grasping my hand. I will bear it for you. His palm was scorching, so hot it made my heart flutter. I tried to pull my hand back, but he held it even tighter. Don't shy away. I'm not shying away. I looked down at our clasped hands. It's just what? He pressed, his thumb stroking the back of my hand. It's just too fast, I said softly. He chuckled softly, releasing my hand. All right, I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. Those words are so heart-fluttering. Take your time, female lead, we can wait. What kind of fairytale romance is this? I'm crying. At night, I lay in bed, thinking of Xiaolin's words. He said he would wait for me. These 3 words were like a seed, falling into my heart and quietly sprouting. Outside the window, the night watchman's drum sounded. It was already the 3rd watch of the night. I turned over and suddenly remembered something. Sitting up, I walked to the window and gently pushed it open a crack. Under the moonlight, Xiao Lin stood in the courtyard, his back to me. Lost in thought, General Xiao on night watch. Is he guarding the female lead? So touching. The silent, devoted protection is what gets me the most. Go to sleep, General. The female lead is safe and sound. As I watched his retreating figure, something deep within my heart seemed to melt away completely. In the early morning, the old locust tree outside the window had shed a blanket of white blossoms. The maid came in holding the annulment papers, her face pale. Lord Jiang refused to sign. My grip on the paper tightened, the ink smudging on the rice paper. What did he say? My voice trembled. He said, the maid lowered her head. He said you are his, and you will die in the Jiang residence. White text floated before my eyes. Jiang, that scumbag, really won't let go. Just as we were speaking, Xiao Lin pushed the door open and entered. Jiang Ningchuan sent the divorce papers back. He also sent a message, saying he wants to see you. I looked up abruptly. I won't see him. I know. Xiao Lin walked to my side, his fingertips brushing the back of my hand. But he might come and make a scene. Here he comes. Scumbag Jiang is about to stir up trouble. General Xiao, protect your wife. Don't let the female lead see him. Sure enough, at 3 in the afternoon, Jiang Ningchuan barged into the Xiao residence with his servants. He stood in the courtyard, dressed in brocade robes, his face dark and menacing, shouting, You Ruoji, come out. I hid behind the window. Watching him kick over the stone stool, my heart fluttering with fear, Xiao Lin pressed my shoulder and whispered, Don't be afraid, I'm here. He turned and went out, his armor gleaming coldly in the sunlight. Jiang Shizi. Xiao Lin stood on the steps, his voice icy cold. This is the Xiao residence. I won't allow you to cause trouble here. Jiang Ningchuan sneered. Xiao Lin, this is a matter between me and my wife. Mind your own business. Your wife? Xiao Lin raised an eyebrow. She has already decided to separate. What's the use of forcing her to stay? Confronting head-on, General Xiao's aura is over 2 meters tall. Jiang, you scumbag, get lost. Stop bothering the female lead. I forced her to stay. Jiang Ningchuan pointed at the Xiao residence. Clearly, you took advantage of the situation and abducted my wife. He suddenly looked toward the window where I was hiding. Ruoji, have you forgotten how good I was to you? I clenched my handkerchief, my nails digging into my palm. Good. What he calls good is the torment night after night. The framing of my father, Jiang Ningchuan. I pushed the window open abruptly. Between you and me, all ties have long been severed. He saw me, his gaze turning fierce. Severed, I tell you, unless I die, then as you wish. Xiao Lin suddenly drew his sword, the blade pointing straight at Jiang Ningchuan's throat. Holy crap, He drew his sword. They're about to fight. General Xiao is so damn cool. Protect our female lead. Jiang Ningchuan took half a step back in fear, putting on a fierce front. You dare kill me? See if I dare. Xiao Lin stepped forward, the tip of his sword slicing through his collar. At that moment, an imperial edict arrived, the eunuch announcing the decree read in a shrill voice. By the decree of the emperor, it is hereby proclaimed, Yu Ruoji of the Yu family is permitted to divorce Jiang Ningchuan. I abruptly looked up and stared at Xiao Lin. He winked at me, a smile curling at the corner of his mouth. The imperial decree came just in time. Did General Xiao arrange this all along? Truly a powerful young general. I'm in love. Divorce successful. Let's celebrate. Jiang Ningchuan's face turned deathly pale as he collapsed to the ground. Impossible. How could this be? Xiao Lin sheathed his sword and cupped his hands toward the eunuch. Thank you for your trouble, sir, the eunuch said with a smile. General Xiao, you're too kind. This is the emperor's decree. After everyone had left, Xiao Lin walked up to me and took out the divorce letter from his sleeve. Sign it. He handed me the brush. From now on, you are free. I took the brush, but my hand was trembling. Freedom. I had waited too long for these two words. The tip of the brush touched the paper, and the ink spread like a teardrop. It's done. I handed him the divorce paper, my eyes burning. He took the divorce paper but held my hand. Ruoji, congratulations. Holding hands, the first official hand-holding after the divorce. The female lead is crying, tears of excitement, right? General Xiao's gaze is so gentle. Hurry and hug her. He really hugged me, his arms tightening as he drew me into it.
At him, you always bully me. Is that so? He suddenly leaned in, his palm resting on the back of my chair. Then do you like it when I bully you? Our breaths suddenly intertwined, his eyes reflecting my panic, like stars falling. Close-range critical hit. Are they about to kiss? Heroine, close your eyes. I'm already nervous for you. This damn atmosphere. I'm going crazy over this. Xiao Lin, my voice trembled, catching the scent of soap from his sleeves. His Adam's apple bobbed as his fingertips brushed my earlobe. Ruoji, be my wife. Outside the window, the locust tree rustled, sunlight filtering through the leaves to dance in his hair. All right, I heard myself say. My heartbeat pounding so hard it ached in my eardrums. He smiled, the starlight in his eyes shattering into honey, and reached out to pull me into his embrace. I've waited too long for this day, he said, his chin resting on the top of my head, his voice hoarse. She said yes, finally said yes. I'm crying. Mutual love is so sweet. Kiss, kiss, get married right now. In the evening, Xiao Yu rushed in holding the wedding dress and said, Sister-in-law, look at this embroidery. Brother said he wants to make you the most splendid bride in the capital. She pointed at the pearls on the sleeve. These are all from the South Sea. The wedding dress is here. So excited for the wedding. General Xiao is so thoughtful. South Sea pearls. Wow, the female lead is finally marrying the right person. So touching. The wedding was set for after the Dragon Boat Festival, and Xiao Lin came to my room every day, either bringing snacks or fabrics. This piece of lotus root-colored satin, he unfolded the fabric, would be perfect for your underskirt, don't you think? And this, he took out a sandalwood box containing a delicate gold phoenix hairpin, to match your wedding dress. I looked at the light in his eyes and suddenly remembered the bullet comments calling him a wife-spoiling maniac, daily wife-spoiling. So jealous. This phoenix hairpin is so exquisite. General Xiao has such great taste. Quick, put it on, let's see. 3 days before the wedding, he took me to see the newly made wedding bed. The canopy bed was entirely made of huanghuali wood, with a headboard carved with mandarin ducks playing in water, and the curtains were a misty rose-colored gauze. Do you like it? He lifted the gauze curtain, and the sunlight filtered through the carvings, falling on his face. I nodded, my fingertips touching the cold carvings. Yet my heart felt so warm it was almost burning. From now on, he hugged me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. This will be our home, wedding bed kill. Is this the prelude to driving? The back hug is so sweet. I've already imagined 10,000 words of it. Heroine, turn around quickly, kiss him. I turned to look at him and fell into his deep, soulful eyes. He lowered his head and kissed me, his movements as gentle as if afraid to shatter glass. The moment our lips touched, my heart felt like fireworks had exploded inside, tingling with a sweet, electric itch. His tongue pried open my teeth, carrying a faint tea flavor, entwining with the tip of my tongue. Finally kissed. That was hard to get. This kiss is so gentle. I'm dead. Barrage shield. I can read another 100 chapters. I don't know how long we kissed before he finally released me. His forehead resting against mine. Ruoji, he said hoarsely, I can't wait any longer. Blushing, I buried my face in his chest, listening to his pounding heartbeat. On the day of the wedding, red silk adorned every locust tree in the Xiao residence. I sat before the mirror, letting the bridal attendant do my makeup, gazing at my reflection in the wedding dress. When Xiao Lin entered in his bright red wedding robes, his steps were full of energy, my bride. He walked up behind me and placed the intricate gold phoenix hairpin in my hair. You look beautiful. The groom has arrived. General Xiao in red robes is absolutely stunning. The phoenix hairpin is on. Perfect match. Such a perfect match. Hurry with the wedding ceremony. I'm ready to scatter the flowers. After being escorted to the bridal chamber, his movements were exceptionally gentle as he lifted the veil. Ruoji, he looked at me, his eyes filled with deep tenderness. We are finally married. I looked at him, recalling all the hardships and wanderings along the way, and couldn't hold back my tears. I'm happy, I said, smiling through tears. It just feels like a dream. It's not a dream, he whispered, lowering his head to kiss away my tears. It's real. I'm crying. It's been so hard, reunited after breaking the mirror. No, it's finding true love. Hurry to the wedding chamber. The head-pushing squad is in position. As he lifted me horizontally into his arms, I hooked my hands around his neck and caught the strong scent of wedding wine on him. When the brocade quilt fell, his fingertips untied the fastening of my wedding dress. His movements filled with tenderness. It might hurt a little, he whispered against my collarbone. His voice gentle. Bear with me. Here it comes. The main event. General Xiao is so gentle. 100 times better than that scumbag Jiang. Don't be afraid, heroine. This is what real tenderness looks like. Unlike Jiang Ningchuan's roughness, his movements were filled with patience and affection. When he leaned over me, I closed my eyes and took the initiative to kiss his lips. Perfect. This is the right way to a happy ending. Blessings to the newlyweds. May they have a harmonious union lasting 100 years. Throwing flowers, looking forward to the sweet daily life after marriage.